Good evening. This is FM 90.1 KZFR Chico, listener-supported community radio for the Sacramento Valley, the foothills, and beyond. Up right now is Right On Air with your host, Kevin Cook, and we have a guest tonight, Augustus William McDonald. How's it going?
Going pretty good, Kevin.
And may I call you Gus?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So we have you on live today, and you're reading what?
I'm reading a few pages from my book, The Java C Incident.
Ooh, okay, Java C Incident. All right. Well, I guess before we dive too much into it, we should probably get a little bit of background on you. So are you from around here locally?
Yes, I'm around here locally. I live in Durham, California.
Okay. So then just for anyone listening, if you want to support a local writer, Gus is a local writer. So where can we find your book?
Oh, you can find my book on Amazon.com. It's on Kindle, paperback, and Audible.
All right. So Amazon.com, Kindle, and Audible. And I think that was a recent thing. You just got that on Audible, was it?
Audible, yeah.
Congratulations on that. Okay. Well, I think we should dive into the reading. That way we don't waste any time. Should we dive in?
Sure.
This will be a background of some character context. So we'll start with character context, and then we'll move into the reading of the book, I think. All right. So check it out.
Let's start with a historical note. Piracy on the high seas is as old as time itself. The areas of the Singapore Strait and the Java Sea have always been a hotbed for piracy. In recent years, it has kicked up. I simply took this fact as inspiration for my story. Mo Chi So is a fabrication of the villains he represents. Alvarez will return again in more stories to come as his exploits continue. When I first started writing, I always wanted to know what I would write about. Some of my biggest influences are Clive Cussler's and Jack Higgins and Bernard Cornwell, whose Richard Sharp series and Starbuck Chronicles I love. My all-time favorite is Louis L'Amour. In this story, I started out going wild, sprouting out ideas left and right. The inspiration for this story came from a documentary on the History Channel from the early 1990s when I saw a video about modern-day pirates armed with AK-47s attacking a cruise ship somewhere off the coast of Africa. I knew I had inspiration since seeing that video. It popped into my mind, and I went wild with it, using it for the inspiration for this story. The main character of this story is Alvarez. He has gone through several character developments and is still continuing. I originally got the inspiration for him from three historical figures: Jesse James, who is an ancestor of mine, and Tom Horn, who was a stock detective turned assassin, who also happens to be related to my uncle. The third and final figure to whom my character is inspired from is Edward O'Reilly, better known as Tex O'Reilly, who was an infamous soldier of fortune from Texas. I came across the story from a book that is now out of print entitled Born to Raise Hell, the Unbelievable but True Life Story of an Infamous Soldier of Fortune by Tex O'Reilly. I read that book and I knew I found the framework for my character. I intend to continue writing stories with this particular character, and I hope in the near future to continue publishing the works in this series. Here are some character descriptions to let you imagine what they look like. Alvarez stands 6'3" with dark reddish hair and black eyes, with headhunter tattoos on his arms and bullet scars on his back. He is of Scotch, Irish, American, Indian ancestry from the upper south of the Appalachian Mountain region. He is a mercenary for hire, a former member of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders from the Spanish-American War of 1898. Alvarez will return again in the next book, The Sheepshooters. Sean Leslie is the uncle of Alvarez and is a former Confederate soldier of the American Civil War, which he refers to as the War of Northern Aggression. He doesn't have much character appearance in this book, but in other books he will have more appearances. His trademark weapons are a pair of Colt Walker conversions which he carried into the Mexican-American War. Count Reinhard von Hochstetter is an imperial German hussar from the Prussian aristocracy of the Kingdom of Prussia and is an old friend of Alvarez. He is a member of the Prussian secret police. Reinhard and Alvarez will work together on numerous occasions to fight against a common enemy. Wojtek is the love interest of Alvarez, and she is a Russian Cossack. She is loyal and devoted to him after he saved her life. Her upbringing in the wild east of the Eurasian steppes cemented her attitude and character, such as Siberian shamanism, Tibetan yoga, gypsy belly dancing, Cossack martial arts, and swordsmanship. A trained killer with the complexity of fire and ice. Her trademark weapons are a pair of twin Shaska swords and a Damascus steel blade and a Nagaika whip, a Mongolian composite bow.
Oh man, I have some major questions for you, but I derailed my own show. I have to read some underwriting. So, real quick, everyone, Right On Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by the Jacoby Real Estate team at Century 21, providing experienced, lifelong service for all of your real estate needs. Kim and Emmett Jacoby have been guiding their clients to successful real estate outcomes since 2015 and are here to serve you. To begin your real estate journey, whether it's buying or selling, visit jacobyteam.com, connecting communities since 2015. And that's kind of a funny point for us because we've been practicing for this show for a little while, and I said, don't worry, man, I got this down. The intro is really simple. We go straight into some underwriting, and what's the first thing I forget?
You forget to read it.
Yep, forget to read the underwriting. Well, that's live radio for you, so sorry about that. So, we just got an intro of your characters, and I think I have a guess at this, but who is your favorite character and why?
My main favorite character is Alvarez. He's actually a small part of him is actually me, actually.
Yeah, so he has some historical references there. Can you elaborate on those again?
Yeah, he's inspiration from Tex O'Reilly and Tom Horn and Jesse James.
And which one of those three are you related to?
I'm related to Jesse James.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. So part of you is kind of an Alvarez in some ways.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Okay, least favorite character to write?
Least favorite character, right? Mochi So.
Mochi So. Any reason behind that?
Oh, he's an evil, nasty guy.
Oh, okay. So is he the bad guy in the book?
Yes.
Okay. Not to give too many things away. Hopefully that wasn't a super big secret for the book, but just so you know. Okay, all right. So were there any other historical figures you used for other characters?
Yes. I forget the name, but there's this book out there called Cossack Girl. She is the inspiration for Wojtek.
Okay. And I have written down here in my notes, she was your second favorite character? Was I wrong?
Second favorite character, yes.
Okay. And I have to ask it, because I'm a big romantic fan, is she the love interest of the book?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're interested in his book, I guess I'll ask you this. What type of audience were you looking for your book? What are we getting from your book?
People who like historical fiction, young readers who want to just have some escapism. Yeah.
All right. And I think the word that we had talked about a little bit too was action-packed and violent.
Action-packed, violent, and thrilling.
Action-packed, violent, and thrilling.
Yeah.
With, as I just pointed out, with a little bit of romance sprinkled in there.
Yep.
Not much, but there's some in there, so it's something for everyone, I think.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see if I had missed any questions on that, because I don't want to forget any here. Well, I guess I'll ask this a little bit early. How long did it take you to write this book?
It took me 5 long years to write this book.
Okay, 5 years. So this next part we're going to hear, I'll have some more follow-up questions on the timeline for that. But what are we going to be reading from the book?
We'll be reading the first few pages.
Okay, so this is like the first probably like 3 or 4 pages of the book. So
pretty much.
Let's dive in, shall we?
Chapter 1, Pirates of the Java Sea. July 21st, 1904. The German luxury liner steamed through the Java Sea in the middle of a hot, muggy, tropical night. Inside the ship, people were dancing and drinking wine in celebration. Alvarez sat to his old school chums from his boarding school at a dinner table, eating his meal while Wesley Smith nudged him on the shoulder. Smith, then pointed across the room towards a group of girls, saying, "Look at the Cagney sisters over there." He shot a smug grin at Alvarez. Wesley's brown, combed back hair, his large brown eyes, and high cheekbones made him a distinct and quite good-looking figure. He never had any trouble with the ladies. He was always a sweet talker, which often got him into trouble. "Let's ask 'em for a dance. You take Susie, I'll take Esther." Alvarez, who was slightly intoxicated and was easily persuaded by Wesley's antics, replied, "Say, let me wash down this brandy and I'll join you." Alvarez stood 6'3" with dark reddish hair and black eyes, weighing in at 235 pounds, a lean build with long legs. He was no subtle man. He had a large, hideous scar across his cheek and another all the way across his right cheek. He had hideous bullet scars on his back, and quite remarkably had similar features like Martin Landau. As Wesley made his way over to the Cagney sisters, Alvarez sat down slowly and sipped his brandy and watched Wesley dance with Esther. Finishing off the last of his drink, Alvarez put his glass down, stood up quickly, and walked smoothly and confidently towards Susie. The atmosphere in the ballroom was full of a slow classic melody. Men and women were dancing away in their suits and gowns, while the older generation were off to the side, smoking their cigars and happily chatting away. As Alvarez approached Susie, a tall man in his German dress whites cut him off. Alvarez noticed the man had bright blonde hair, and it was parted in the middle. The man did not have the most intimidating features, but his wild, glaring, dark blue, angelic eyes, which had a monocle on the left, combined with his pronounced nose, gave him an attractive yet ominous look. As the man reached Susie, he said in a thick, aristocratic German accent, "May I have the honor of this dance?" Susie, who was watching Alvarez come towards her, politely responded, "I am sorry, sir, but I am afraid this gentleman was going to ask me for a dance." The tall gentleman in white looked at Alvarez, and in a casual yet mocking voice, "Oh, I'm sorry, Alvarez, I did not see you there." Alvarez replied, "Oh no, it is all fair and game here. Please do not let me get in the way. I can wait until the next song, Hochstetter." Count Reinhardt von Hochstetter," said the tall man as he extended his right hand towards Alvarez. "It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance again, my old friend. It's been quite a while since our little hunting safari in the Transvaal Republic," said Alvarez as he shook his hand. Susie looked over to Alvarez and giggled gaily and said, "Well, I've never felt so flattered to have two gentlemen ask me for a dance." As Reinhardt escorted Susie to the dance floor, Alvarez stood against the wall and recalled how Reinhardt gave him the scar on the cheek. He remembered it was in the autumn some years back. It was over a stupid remark that Alvarez had made about Reinhardt being a blue-blooded gargoyle to his friend Sergeant Southam. It was meant to be a private joke, but it was relayed to him. Reinhardt obviously did not take insults lightly, so he publicly challenged Alvarez to a duel by slapping him in the face in full view of patrons in a tavern. Alvarez experienced firsthand how deadly Reinhardt was with a sword. The duel took place on an island northwest of German New Guinea on a plantation run by Reinhardt himself. As the overseer, the duel took place in a gardened courtyard when Alvarez earned his badge of honor. The style of the duel was academy fencing, better known to the Germans as Mansur duel, where Alvarez duked it out with Hochster. Once he was finished, Alvarez looked like a rag doll that had been chewed to pieces. All of his wounds had healed except for one vicious scar delivered by Reinhardt's sword. Ironically, this was where they became best friends. Just barely a week after the duel, the Islanders revolted, causing Alvarez, Reinhardt, and his friend Sergeant Southam to fight them off. In that private little war, a bond was formed out of admiration and respect. Reminiscing on the events, Alvarez slowly raised his hand to his cheek and followed the crevasse left behind from the scar on his cheek. As his hand neared the end of his scar, the window next to him shattered. Alvarez, who knew all too well the sound of a bullet cracking into a window, reacted by immediately dropping to one knee and leaning against the wall. Alvarez instinctively recognized the sound of gunfire just feet away from the shattered porthole. On the boat deck, the room erupted into utter chaos. People were scattering everywhere, which way. Chairs were overturned and people were bumping into each other as the panicked crowd attempted to head towards the exit. Before people could make it to the exit, however, a pirate burst through the main doors, firing off 4 shots into the ceiling in rapid succession. The pirate roared out in broken English, "Hands up, everybody! We rob ship, resist, you die." 16 pirates followed suit to the left and right of the head pirate, effectively cutting off any chance of escape through the main exit. Alvarez swiftly made his way over to the door that led to the servants' quarters. Moments later, he was stopped by a pirate, standing a few steps away from the stairs. The pirate's label rifle and bayonet were grazing the side of Alvarez's chest. Alvarez, who had grabbed the nearest thing to a weapon, a candlestick, while he was escaping the ballroom, grabbed the pirate's rifle and quickly forcing it away from his body. As Alvarez pushed the gun away from himself, the gun went off. It spewed flame and smoke just a few feet from Alvarez's chest and face. Pushing the rifle away, Alvarez quickly swung the candlestick towards the pirate's head, aiming for his temple, crushing his skull. Alvarez, who was still firmly gripping the rifle, yanked it out of the dead pirate's grip.
Oh man, dude. That went from, this was the first, 4 pages, you said?
Pretty much.
Dude, that was 0 to 100 in 4 pages. Holy smokes.
Yes, it was.
That's incredible, man. Okay, so I wanted to go back. So you said it took you 5, and also, no kidding, that was a cliffhanger we left it on. If you liked the book and you liked what you just heard, you can find that at Amazon.com, and it was Audible?
Yes, Audible.
Okay, and Audible, okay. And the name of the book on Amazon will be Augustus William McDonald's The Java Sea Incident?
The Java Sea Incident, yes.
Cool, okay, just so you guys know. Okay, so I asked how long it took you to write this, and you said 5 years?
It took me about 5 years here and there, doing research, and also just trying to pound away at the book, pretty much trying to refine it to the tune I wanted it to be written in.
Yeah, a lot of editing and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Editing was a real pain in the butt.
So that 5-year schedule for you, I'm always curious, was it something that you just found any time windows you could to try to write?
Pretty much.
Okay, so around work and basically everything.
Around work, around school time, yeah.
What's your writing process look like? Do you have an old archaic typewriter that you peck away on, or do you dictate? How does that work?
No, I actually use a system called DragonSpeak.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love that thing. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. There's the I use the speaking to put the words onto the Word document, and editing comes completely last. Editing was edit, and more edit.
Yeah. That's the process that I hear from most people who've written a book are like, oh yeah, I wrote the book and then I rewrote it 6 times because there was so much editing. Was it kind of similar to that?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, it turned out well, and the end result is a publication, which is cool. Congratulations on that.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask, it's a historical referencing book. Was the entire Java Sea incident is that modeled off of an exact historical thing, or did you loosely just pull things? And
I loosely pulled things together here and there. The attack on the ship was actually something that happened off the coast of Africa somewhere.
Oh, like actual real
real life, yes.
Wow. Okay, incredible. What was what's the main timeline of this book?
The main timeline of this book was set in the year 1904.
1904. Okay, so a little while ago. Was there any reason for that exact time period?
I just put it there at that time because pretty much there are other historical instances that actually happened during that time frame between the year 1890 to 1925, pretty much.
Yeah, turn of the century, there was a lot of stuff going on.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So kind of spiced it up there. Or I've picked a really spicy time to choose from. Okay.
Yep.
So will there be, is this book part of a series?
Yes, this book is part of a series. I have planned to write out, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 or so books and for the whole series.
Stay tuned. Holy smokes, 15 or 20? Whew. So are you working on the second book yet?
Yeah, I'm working on the second book right now. It's called The Sheep Shooters. It's about the range wars of the Old West.
Ooh, does that one come in any different chronological time? Is it like 10 years after the settings of this book? Or?
Actually, it's set in the Old West around the early 1890s.
Oh, okay. So The Sheep Shooters. So we have to keep an eye out. If you end up getting this book, keep an eye out on Amazon for that second book that's coming out.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So how did you feel when you finished writing the book?
I felt like a mountain just kind of was lifted off my shoulders pretty much.
Yeah.
It was quite a hassle trying to get this book published, I can tell you that.
How was that, actually? I'm really curious. A lot of people come on this show, and the different journeys people take for publication are vast. There's a lot of different stuff out there.
I went with Amazon.
Did you have to engage like through email or phone call?
Oh, email.
Okay, so all email dialogue. Were they pretty responsive, pretty quick?
Yeah, actually they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some publishing processes that were nightmares. So yours was pretty simple?
I had help along the way, editing out, and someone who knew what they were doing.
Did you have help along the way for the whole book too, editing process and all that as well?
Yes.
Whew, yeah, I've heard, there's a reason why in the first page of most books they have a thank you section to all the people who helped do that. Did you have a thank you section in your book?
Yes.
Good. Well done, man. Always nice to say thanks to the people that are helping us out. Okay, let me look at my questions here that I got. What else do we have lined up for you? Ooh, well, writing in general, I'll back up on this. Was there a point to this book? Did you want to get a message across, or were you looking for more of just an entertainment piece?
I was looking for more of an entertainment piece.
Okay. Have you... I derailed my own question there. So it took you 5 years to write it. What do you think people should know about writing in general?
Definitely know what you want to write about, and definitely for real life inspiration for the characters is pretty much key to building a good character for a book and even a story in general.
Okay. So having essentially, well, at least what I'm hearing is it helps to have the historical or some sort of real life reference because it kind of helps build a model for the story.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you doing that for the second book too, building a lot of more historical references off of it too?
Yeah, I actually got some historical figures for the Uncle Sean character.
Oh, is Sean Leslie? Is that
Sean Leslie? He is the uncle of Alvarez, who has a small piece in this book, but he doesn't have much character development. In the second book, he's going to be all over there. He's kind of an old, crass, foul-mouthed old man who kind of bitter towards everybody.
Ah, okay. So, and you said he's only mentioned a little bit in this book?
Yeah, he's only mentioned a little bit in this book.
Okay. So stay tuned. The prequel, it was a prequel for the second one?
Yeah, the prequel's the second one.
The prequel will come out called The Sheep Shooters, and it's going to have will Wojtek be there?
No, she...
I'm not reading it.
No, she's not going to be in that second one.
Okay. All right. Will you, after the second one, this is probably a question that's maybe too far down the line, but after the second book, will you jump ahead in the future, do you think?
I think the third or fourth book will probably be set during the Boer War or maybe during the Spanish-American Civil War with Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders. Definitely, he's going to be in the border war with the U.S. and Mexico. Pretty much the Bandit War, the Border War, and the Mexican Revolution down there. There's a whole playground right there that I have cooking up in my brain.
Ooh, all right. Stay tuned. That one will probably be a little ways out because you got to finish the second one, right?
Oh, yeah, I got to finish the second for sure.
Okay, I'm excited for that. That'll be really fun to read. Well, I guess we're nearing the end of our show. What's 2 things you want people to know about your book?
It's action-packed and hard-boiled grit, pretty much.
Action-packed, hard-boiled grit. With, hold on, a little bit of romance dashed in there.
A little spice romance, pretty much, you could say, yeah.
Something for everyone, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're, if you were curious too and you're listening, it starts off real fast, real quick. So if you're looking for that violent action stuff, 3 pages in and you're in there.
Yep.
Cool, okay. Well, thanks for being on the show, Gus. This was awesome having you. Is there any other shout-outs or mentions that you want to do while you have the mic?
I work at a grocery outlet. We have the lowest prices in town at Food Max.
Hey, there we go. Right on. I hope that doesn't get me tossed off the air. I don't know if I can advertise that, but...
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that. Sorry.
That's a little bit of a joke. You're all right. It's no worries. Cool. So find the grocery outlet and purchase some things because that's cool. Yep. I'm not too worried about it. And also, if you're in the mind of purchasing things, the holidays are coming up. A great gift idea might be the Java Seat incident for, those neighbors that are looking for the content that you heard today. Where can we find your book, Gus?
You can find it on Amazon.com. We have it on Kindle, paperback, and Audible.
Kindle, paperback, and the Audible one is my favorite, too. I don't know who you got to speak for that whole thing, but it's pretty smooth.
Oh, it was ACX.com.
ACX.com, huh.
Yep, they have independent readers.
I didn't know that.
Yep, I actually went through that place.
Very cool. Well, Gus, it was a pleasure having you, reading from the Java Seat incident, hearing about Alvarez and your historical connections to them, which I think is not something that a lot of people can claim to their historical fiction books.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, man. Well, if you enjoyed the show, you can reach out to us, to me, at my email, which is write.onair@gmail.com, write.onair@gmail.com. Again, this is FM 90.1, KZFR Chico, listener-supported community radio for the Sacramento Valley, the foothills, and beyond.